All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live Web3 Network. We are going to have ourselves a good hump day, not a full no shortage of news to talk about today. We do have the SEC finding stoner cats. That is going to be the main topic of the day. I'm sitting here with my main man, Gifted. You might be wondering, why are we sitting under a rehash sign? What's going on here? Well, why are we doing this? This is NFT Live. We usually have longer episodes here, but we wanted to create these shorter videos for y'all that don't have as much time in the day. A lot of different reasons why you might not be able to catch the full episode of NFT Live. Well, we essentially are shrinking these down into rehashes for y'all, both on YouTube and on X. So excited to get that to y'all. A lot of things to get into again, but what's up, Gifted? Nice to see you, the humble Web3 Sherpa in the house.
Hey, the bubblegum cowboy in the house. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, this is just a sort of, it's a teaser because we're doing these new daily rehashes video format style on both YouTube and X, as you said.
50Q, I'm sitting here.
Hey, whoa, there it is. That's the example of yesterday's. We just started these. Sorry, we're figuring it out, but yeah, we're going to start basically taking what we do on X, which is curating all of the top 10 headlines from the last 24 hours in Web3, putting into a nice thread. And now we're basically just doing a 5 to 10 minute video summarizing all of that for you to make it even easier. This is our quest. Our mission is to be the best that we can be at providing you with awesome curated news, info, the highest quality editorial, entertainment, and education across Web3. So the daily rehash is a new thing. So if you see that background, that's what we're trying to let you know about.
All right, we appreciate you guys joining in early for us on an episode of NFT Live. Listen, we have also a special and breaking news piece for y'all that are joining us early or are just catching us afterwards. We have the Metamask Snaps developer who is just actually at an IRL conference talking about all the things coming out with MetaMask Snaps, all the different extensions that are being added. We actually have, let me make sure I get his name right here. Dax. Okay. I'm going to formally bring him in once he's in studio. He's not in the green screen yet or green room yet, but we are going to have him here soon. He agreed to do that after the GM Web3 morning show. He hopped in at the end, was giving us a little info. So we figured we'd get that for y'all.
Yeah, and apparently Dax has been part of the product team at MetaMask, actually developing this awesome new platform for the snaps, and now he's, I guess, in Korea, or it's token. I think it's Token 2049 is the current conference where all of this was announced, and he was part of that announcement. So he's been out there announcing and rolling out this awesome new platform for MetaMask, which is basically, again, it's like this open source dev sandbox in a way. There you go, Dax Dev. Excited to hopefully bring him in here in just a few minutes to tell us more about MetaMask Snaps, because this is one of the biggest stories of this week, and probably maybe of the back half of this year. This has a lot of potential to add functionality and interoperability across chains, across different projects and types. MetaMask is, I think, still the most widely used Ethereum wallet, crypto wallet
definitely
out there. And, you've been especially critical of them, Nifty Q, for moving too slowly. And
do not bring that up when Dax comes out.
But your concerns, I think, they are trying to address with this type of situation, right? Because one of the cool things that we started to get into was, the UI concerns. We've talked endlessly about the issues that we see with MetaMask UI, and now they're outsourcing, in a way, customization of the MetaMask UI to a bunch of different developers through this open source protocol or this open source platform. So yeah, excited to talk more about snaps, and you can see there on screen, these are just some of the snaps that they have already rolled out this announcement with, that you can be trying right now and customizing your MetaMask wallet.
Yeah, I have been critical on MetaMask, and one of the main reasons is they're one of the most used tools in the space. And if we can get a little bit more usability, a little bit more innovation from their front, which Snaps is a great example of that, we can actually move on into the future, into whatever this mass adoption is. All right, guys, we are starting the episode here. We're smack dab in the beginning, and we appreciate you for joining. Prodigy, DP, thank you guys for tuning in early. Again, we have MetaMask Snaps coming on here in just a moment. I'm going to do my best to share out the episode here on my various accounts. You might not know, I'm like the least followed micro influencer, and I'll call myself that. Little, you know, just who I am. There were a couple different influencer tags I forgot.
I thought you didn't like the term influencer.
What were the terms?
Are you sure you're not a micro creator, Q?
So one of those, just a mid-tier, just a mid-influencer, man.
That's niche internet
niche.
Celebrity. I think it's niche internet celebrity is what you're looking for.
I'm my own little niche internet celebrity, but I'm going to share it for my profile, which just went over 4,000 followers. So if you're one of those, I appreciate you. That's a landmark. I know Prodigy and DP, you guys are supportive as well, and I want to support you guys however I can as well. So whenever we can get you on the channel, DP, whenever I can highlight you over there on X, let me know, brother. But yeah, I'm going to share out the episode here from NFT Live today. Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. So this is going to be, again, a Stoner Cats filled show. We did have the SEC coming down on Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher and some of the other team members, frankly, in that project, saying, hey, you need to destroy your NFTs. Like that. I love this term that's coming from both the Tom Bilyeu as well as the now Ashton Kutcher Stoner Cats drama.
See, this is why I'm frustrated with Bilyeu not doing more to actually, like, again, I don't want to re-litigate. Like, he's in a tough spot, but in the absence of legal clarity and actual like rulings, this is the precedent now. The precedent has been set by the Bilyeu situation, that you destroy all your NFTs, you fine, you give back all the money, you do XYZ other things. And yeah, man. But also here's the other side of this.
Oh yeah.
Degens be degenning. Like people are sweeping the Stoner Cats floor right now. There's like over 100 sales, I think.
159%. Y'all are absolutely nuts, man. Space is ridiculous. Keep in mind, this is on low volume, but people are actually, like, we just saw a sale literally in the last, let me see if I can pull this interface in. We saw sales happening 2 hours, a ton of sales over the last basically 3 or 4 hours. Whenever
about 100 sales. Yeah. In the last couple of hours. So Marty's saying Ashton has been all downhill since Punk'd ended. I mean, I don't know about that. He's done some good stuff, and he married Mila Kunis. I think after that. So
I was just gonna say, and call you out, and then you threw out the Mila Kunis, and I have to. Yeah, I will say, fantastic dub there, sir. All right, again, we are having the MetaMask snaps, guys, in just a moment. Biggest story of the day, I guess we can hit it. Stoner Cats. So before we get into it, because we're covering the SEC, I feel like it makes a lot of sense to talk right up front that this is not financial advice. Do not take what we say here on this show and use it in any form to invest your hard-earned cash and money or crypto based on what you're hearing here today. So without further ado, this is the story coming down. Broke about 3 hours ago. U.S. regulators fining Stoner Cats creator for offering NFTs. This is, of course, the Stoner Cats of yesteryear of 2021, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and a bunch of different creators. And it might even behoove us to go back and look at the Stoner Cats website, if it still exists. I don't know if they told them to take it down, just like their NFTs that they're apparently destroying. But I'd love to see the value prop that they were pushing, at least in the wording on their website. I'm sure it's been taken down from now, but they were going to create a TV show. They were going to have like a Netflix series or some type of.
They did.
Full
they
TV
created
show.
Several episodes. They did.
Did it ever make it to broadcast?
Oh, I don't know if it made it to broadcast.
That's what people were expecting.
That's a good question.
that's what people are expecting from celebrities of this caliber. Cryptopolis is another one that I want to touch on because that is actually on Fox Now and I think has an NFT component. But anyways, back into the story, and then Gif, I want your takes. I know it's a tough one to start the morning with. The creator of the popular Stoner Cats animated web series will pay $1 million civil fine to settle U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charges. It conducted an unregistered security offering of crypto assets by selling non-fungible tokens, the regulators said on Wednesday. Stoner Cats 2 LLC did not admit or deny wrongdoing in settling charges. It legally raised 8.2 in July 2021 by selling 10,320 NFTs for about $800 each. I remember it being pretty expensive at the time too. It was on the larger end in terms of ETH.
It was about $800, I believe, to mint. So. Yep. Almost $1,000 to get one of these initially. A big initial offering, if you will. I wanted to pull up this. You know, we're trailer maxis here, and I wanted to actually see. I wanted to actually see
what do you got?
What's happening over here. Give me a second. Here we go.
The trailer. Simpler times.
Nice. All right, there you go. That's Stoner Cats for you. If you weren't aware what they were doing, they were creating a TV show around stoned cats. And yeah, man, I mean, my take is that the SEC's playbook is about earned media. They're getting the negative headlines out there, running with the agenda of scaring people off, of regulating the space through enforcement, continuing to do what they want, and take this very heavy-handed anti-crypto stance that has the effect of creating more FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and less people wanting to enter and be part of the space. And, you know, I think you or somebody else is bringing up, like, why is this the playbook? Why do they care about the earned media? Like, why would you go after just $1 million? It's because the earned media that you get going after Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis is worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the SEC's campaign against crypto, right? Because again, it's like they get so much coverage and attention and viewership on this type of thing.
Put it on the resume.
Yeah, and then it's Gary Gensler's resume for re-election, right? It's political at a certain point. He wants to run. His brand is basically this, heavy, hard against crypto, hard against degens, hard against crypto bros making money out of thin air. You know, that quote. So it is bad. It is bad for the space because it's another big, bold headline saying everybody stay away. That, you know, unfortunately the mainstream is not going to be able to see the nuance or see through the smoke of it all. They're just going to take it at face value. The other part of it, though, is that we are actually getting more clarity around how to do these in a way where it's the SEC can still probably do what they want. And to your point, it didn't look like they actually provided specific examples of what was wrong from a language or a presentation standpoint. However, it seems pretty clear to me, at least, if I'm reading through the line between the lines and trying to understand what is similar between Tom Bilyeu, impact theory, and this, it's that they sold an initial NFT. So these weren't free mints. They were expensive initial offerings that were sold to people with an understanding or expectation being set of a return of value. And so Tom Bilyeu was very explicit how he did that in various ways, saying you were getting ownership of the company in a certain way and that this would make you a bunch of money. There were specific examples, I believe, there that we dug into in Discord, but it was said by the team, right?
Yeah.
Dude, if you're putting it out there and you're selling it this way, all of this shit's online. It's all fair game, right? So you gotta, anything you're putting in writing or saying online in a space, like it's out there on the internet. So you are accountable to that. So I'm just saying, it seems clear to me that in the sale of this, there was some promise of value in terms of the return. And that's what they say in the documentation. They say that there was an understanding or that these were sold as having some kind of value as a digital asset. So that's what I see as the similarity here. And so therefore, as a founder, as a creator, if you're wanting to launch a project, I do think that there's some learnings or things that you can read in the tea leaves here.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I don't want to put this conversation on ice for too long, but we do have Dax from Metamask here. Obviously, Metamask Snaps came out with a huge announcement here with that product release, and we have Dax here to talk about it. So let's come back to Stoner Cats. It's going to be in the conversation. Prodigy here, Marty McFly, you guys are bringing in some comments. Marty saying it's all good. I've been down the Ashton rabbit hole. It ain't good. Confirmed by his defense of Danny. Prodigy saying y'all remember M's line, the FCC won't let me be. So we see you guys there in chat, but we wanted to provide value to you guys as well today, and also highlight some good creators in the space. MetaMask pushing forward some innovative features. So without further ado, cue the horns, cue the lights. Hopefully the audio is working. Dax, what's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me all right?
We can, dude. I love the mask, by the way.
Yeah, it's I actually made it to Sir Rat Leather out here in Austin right after the conference and the talks. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been up on stage as part of the new Rad Team initiative, building out products, and I built out the Node SDK demo that we did this last week. And I'm really proud of Christian, who is our product manager over at Snaps. He got to be up on one of the big main stages at Culture Live and announce it. I did not realize that having the MetaMask tag and wearing the MetaMask swag and being out here at these events meant that every person and their mother was going to ask me when we have a token. Yep, exactly.
Right, so win token.
Yeah, I have to read my corporate response on that one. Wink, wink. But the big announcement was MetaMask Snaps. So, yep.
Dax, hey, Dax. Really quick before we get into the weeds, if you can do us a favor, right underneath the video, there should be a little settings cog. And if you hit that, you should be able to bump up the video to full high definition just to get the highest quality on there.
Oh, you got it. Oh, it's grabbing my OBS camera. There we go. Yeah. So right yes, I also do live streams, and I'm a big believer in build in public. Wow, you found my Twitter fast.
Yeah.
You guys really found my Twitter fast. Here.
Hey,
so now you can probably hear me. You can hear me talk and see me better.
So. Dude. Yeah. Okay. So tell us where you're at now. We were saying token 2049 there, I believe in Singapore. And is it in Singapore? Is it Korea? Tell us where you're at, and then we can jump into the features. And I really want to dive deep because you got obviously extensive knowledge on the product rollout.
Yeah. So actually, believe it or not, I am right here in Austin, Texas at Permissionless 2 with Blockworks. Jason and the whole Blockworks team, Gloria. Shout out Gloria. If you want to see a Web3 builder who has been killing it longer than I have, like 5 years, like help build some critical infrastructure in our space. Gloria is someone I follow on my Twitter. I'll tweet her out in a little bit.
Yeah, if you tweet her out, or you can always share her Twitter in that private chat, and then we can drop it in the in the chat too.
So the whole team has been amazing. It's day 3 of the event. It's day 5 for me here as MetaMask team member. So I'm tired. I'm having a wonderful time, but it's been great. And like I was saying, leading into this, it was Christian's stage. It's all about Christian, our product manager for Snaps, and the whole Snaps team coming out here. Yes, sir. That's it. So jumping right into it, Snaps is kind of our idea of letting MetaMask be a developer playground. We always get those complaints, why is the UI bad? Why don't I get this data? Why don't I get this functionality in there? And we really led like leaned into the developer mentality of, you know what, if you don't like it, go and build it. And this is our attempt to say, partners, corporate partners, open source developers, go play with it. This is now a safe and secure way to extend MetaMask's functionality, whether that's a UI change, or you want to be able to store your Bitcoin in MetaMask wallet, or you want to institute, something crazy other than swaps. You want to do some sort of, tranching or some sort of crazy financial transactions, outside of MetaMask Institutional, which we actually have a version of MetaMask called MetaMask Institutional for institutions, corporate partners, and traders as well. So we're bringing all of the lessons we've learned to bear into Snaps so that anyone can go out and be a builder. And it's really cool because Snaps, even though, like I said, everyone was asking me questions and I couldn't say what we were announcing, Snaps has been an open secret. Snaps has been on Flask for 2 years. In fact, 2 years ago, when I originally interviewed for MetaMask, my take-home project for the interview was to build a Snap. So it's been an open secret. It's been in development. We've had eyes on it from the open source community and our internal team and these 20 corporate partners, which is another thing. I've had some questions about the security and safety of Snaps. We're launching with these first 20 partners. We're going to be focusing heavily on them as a company and as developers supporting them and launching these products. So when it comes to MetaMask production, not our Flask application, which is the developer testbed, we will only be supporting these 20 companies in production for as far as I know, until we feel confident that we've built out the additional and extra features. And we're doing, instead of just building a product, now we're iterating on a product in a public space, in a published product. So back to that more conventional developer grind, 2-week sprints, get feedback, what's the user base, and really grinding those analytics to make sure that we're building something the community wants and the community needs.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the auditing process, because that is one thing that I saw in there that's obviously very important is, the security, the auditing of this. Guessing that, these snaps have been in development for a while. Your team has worked closely with these partners. There's been some auditing that's gone into that. But how does that work exactly? And then within the context of other open source devs trying to get their snaps, in there.
So that's actually definitely a Christian question. I'm here from the RAD team. I'm not on the Snaps team. I'm on the RAD team, which is the Rapid Application Development team. We come in and help fix things, build demos. We work completely in open source within MetaMask. We're kind of an agile team of builders. So in terms of the audit process, I know it's really rigorous. You talk to several different people at several different levels. And it's an iterative process. We had, shout out to Willie from Shapeshift, was in our booth all day, day one, and all day, day two, helping us get set up, getting set for pre-launch. Willie came over literally. Sorry, I'm getting a call here.
Oh, you're good.
Find that. Yeah, no, we had Willie from Shapeshift literally come over and he's like, I'll throw you some Litecoin to install this and to show you how the snap was. And he sat me down, walked me through Shapeshift's new snap on their staging. And we found some interesting bugs in transferring staging to production. And we literally got to fix bugs right there in the process. So the devs are already on top of it. I think it's not just this auditing process that we're talking about that I don't have the details of, because one, I don't know if I'm allowed to share the details, and two, even if I did know them, I'm not necessarily in those meetings. That being said, I can tell you, hands down, having met the devs and having seen what they've built in the public space is killer. And they're probably one of the biggest reasons why we're partnering with these 20 companies is because the builders who are building these snaps are known entities and they're big people in the space that we respect and admire and love working with.
Dax, I got a quick question, man, because right away when you guys rolled out the feature, it was a simple concept to understand, right? You have the Chrome extensions. You can now officially add them into your MetaMask. What have been, one, how easy is that feature now? Is it live? Like if someone had never heard of MetaMask snaps before, could they go to their MetaMask now, click one toggle and have it be live? And then what are some of your favorite snaps out of the initial ones that you rolled out in this first wave?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as I know from DX, let's check it out. I have my MetaMask, my main wallet on my Arc browser here. Let's see. Settings, alerts, snaps, one click. Yep, I can enable it. It looks just like we did in a test bed. So now you can search for or add any snaps directly from, it looks like we have a package manager actually instituted this. So if I search for it, you can actually go and grab those snaps directly from a listed directory and enable them right in your MetaMask browser. The UX and experience, I'm playing with it right now as we're talking, looks and feels great. And if you encounter, problems with it, I'm on the RAD team where MetaMask is live here at Permissionless. Come up to us, be like, hey, we got a problem, or tweet at one of us, because that's the other thing. MetaMask has had this RAD team for a while now. And whenever we're not helping fix something at a consensus property, whether that's playing with an Infura API or consensus in MetaMask or Linea, we're building open source stuff like the CLI tool that I just released last week. So we're always foaming at the mouth for something to build, something to work on. So if you find me, Shushwita, HTTP Junkie, which is Eric, who's the head of DevRel, and he's a DJ actually too. That's a fun fact. So is Chris. Chris and Eric are our two resident DJs, and Chris just released snaps, and we're throwing a huge party, and they're going to be DJing later tonight. So it's really exciting to see everybody's talents come in, not just across the products that we build, but the love and the vibe that we bring to the space has always been exciting to me. It's why I love working with these people.
Gifted, we're missing out on Marfa and apparently one of the cooler parties to go
Permissionless.
to.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of talk about that both on Bankless and Empire podcasts and stuff. So I'm sure it's cool, and we'll dig maybe more into that here in a couple minutes before we wrap with you. But I'm curious, are there any key differences or concerns that you have around the deployment and implementation of snaps between desktop and mobile MetaMask? Because I mean, obviously they're similar, but they are different experiences. Is there anything in particular, having not really gotten in and actually used them yet, is there anything in particular that we should know between desktop and mobile?
Yeah, actually, if you want to get technical about it, the demo that I actually released and did on stage, where you grab that picture from, is for our brand new MetaMask SDK, JavaScript SDK, Unity SDK, Unreal Engine SDK, native Android SDK. All these things are being rolled out at once, which means from a programming perspective, we're going to have one unified SDK across all the platforms, mobile browser extension, JavaScript. So the code is going to be one-to-one parity here very, very shortly in terms of the experience. Now, the experiences will differ because of the way native rendering happens on, if it's a React Native application versus a Flutter application, and how Google has their whole Skya rendering engine. All of those pieces are going to be different, but the underlying connecting to MetaMask SDK, and the operations that MetaMask does within the wallet, is the code for that is going to become one-to-one parity with each other as we move to this core SDK system. And it's open for all developers. So you can go out and write, if for some reason you need your Node.js server, your Discord bot server to directly connect with somebody's wallet, you can do that directly off chain. You don't need a third-party smart contract to do that anymore. You can access wallet functions directly from the code that you're writing.
So, okay, that was a very deep and technical response. Appreciate you being, having the expertise to explain that. I do want to, bring it back out of the weeds a little bit. So to simplify what you just shared, it sounds to me like what you're saying is that the development of both the mobile and desktop components, which have been kind of separate and more complicated from that regard, more, requiring more work, it's all becoming more streamlined and easier through a single sort of code base to get both the desktop and mobile applications working. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, we're moving to what we call source of truth. We're creating a real kind of centralized source of truth that's being shared by our developers, and updating our documentation, hopefully in a more iterative and faster manner, so that these ideas and concepts can be communicated, because documentation is really, really important. But you simplified it. Great A repiping right there. Absolutely.
Dax, I want to make sure that I'm explaining your role correctly. You are on the rapid development team, the RAD team there on MetaMask, basically building out different products there within the application and in the entity and the company. What's your official role so that people know, how to reach you, and I can drop your Twitter as well.
Absolutely. So I'm a contractor and vendor for MetaMask specifically. I focus typically on a one-to-one contract, but I'm on something called the Rapid Application Development Team, the RAD team. It's an international kind of just ragtag group, honestly, of 4 of us developers now, Shushmita, Colin, and a couple other guys, all working together on this, moving around, helping to fix what needs fixing, building demos where we need demos. Think of it more like a floating utility. Wherever we're needed, our team can go and help out. And I was really blessed and excited to, be invited up to this conference and hang out with the whole team. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like you wear many hats there. Gif, I'll get to it real quick, but do you foresee any products that are coming out here in like the next 6 months that are going to change the game, just like snaps? Like, what would you love to see MetaMask implement from a user perspective? I know there's a ton of, it's the most used app in the industry, to be quite frank. So there's a lot of people with a lot of thoughts on what you guys should do. But what are some cool things we might see here in like the next year or two?
Well, you're going to ask me what's most exciting to me. It's what I just built and released on last Thursday, which is the DAX CLI, the Developer Acceleration Experience for Smart Contract Organizations. It is a one-line command you can run to have your entire project boilerplated out. Doesn't matter what chain, doesn't matter what front-end framework, doesn't matter the contract's functionality. If you write it in Rust or you write it in Solidity, we can import that in, extract out the values and the operations your contract is going to do, allow you to one-click connect to Infura to deploy that contract, and have maybe a Svelte or Next.js app or whatever kind of front end you want all ready to spin up and all ready to go, so that now you have one mono repo. There's no more 5 different developers taking 3 weeks to just get the boilerplate code and like your starting landing page going. This generates all that with one command, and it goes through and it asks you, what chain do you want to start on? What front end framework do you want to start with? What kind of, you want an ERC 721 as your boilerplate contract? And it polyfills all that out. Oh, it's still not caching the right font for that. I apologize, but still in beta, but you can go grab the docs and read through it. Right now, I just have Next.js and Ethereum set up for that, but it's a completely open source project. So that means if you don't like the code we're writing, or you want a different contract included, or you want a different starting template included, go grab a pull request and go show us what you want, and we will fold it into the next release.
So again, I'm trying to do my best to translate all of this deep knowledge that you're spitting at us. It sounds like what this is a open source tool for devs that enhances interoperability for smart contracts.
Well, not just interoperability. This is, I had a lot of people, when the crypto boom was going off and I was doing contracts, everyone wanted a developer to write a smart contract, a developer to write a website, a developer to do community management, maybe a Discord bot, right? And all of those things take a piece of code. They need a repo, a repository of code. What this does is it goes, okay, these are the goals you're trying to meet. Here is real code that's been written at MetaMask and Alchemy and OpenZeppelin and all these big places that we know is safe and a good starting point for you to use. So you want a website that you can throw up and have a smart contract in Mint in less than 5 minutes. You can run this command and pick out, which kind of front end you want, which there's hundreds of different frameworks. But think of it like picking between GoDaddy and like the GoDaddy website builder and what are some of the other Dragon and Squarespace. But you also get to deploy your contract and your connect all at the same time.
That sounds crazy powerful, man. And congrats to you. Your name's on it. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, I sent it over to Pacey. So, and they came back with that. Pacey's a great branding contractor, and they sent back, hey, you could use your name for this.
Dax, you're clearly a really strong developer there, and I definitely don't want to get too lost in the weeds on my last question here. But for those people that might be concerned with, adding a third-party extension to something that they have, like the assets that they care about, right? The security aspect. What would you say to those people that maybe again aren't developer heavy and are just concerned that if I add another app, it's just adding another point of failure?
Sure, that's always a valid argument, at least from an engineering perspective, and adding a point of failure. And that's where we can go in and be really deep and technical on it. But at the end of the day, MetaMask focuses on security and interoperability and providing these things in a safe and secure manner. So for me, I'm just going to throw it out there. Anything that's not on a cold wallet is on my main daxdev.eth domain and is in that wallet, and it's on main chain, and it sits in my standard MetaMask browser extension. Sometimes it's even in the Flask build. That's how much confidence I, as a developer, have with it. If you follow security best practices, don't sign things you don't know how to sign, don't be connecting to things you don't want to be connected to, and just like conventional Web 2, don't be clicking on links you don't know where they go. And if you can follow the basic, cybersecurity, health and safety rules that have started to become common knowledge in the space, you will have a great time with snaps. And like I said, for the first 20 people or the first 20 companies we're partnering with, we are hyper focused on them and very focused on what is going on and collecting data and analytics on how it's being used, it's being used safely. And if there are behaviors that are cropping up, we're going to be on top of that. If there are security behaviors that we see people being lazy about, we will speak up about that, and we'll have our partners speak up about that. And I know for a fact that we'll go out, we'll make those announcements, and we'll do the work not only on the code side to make sure that we can keep these things from happening, but on the behavior side and the community side.
Yeah, it's obviously a big challenge, man. I mean, security is huge, and it's just good to know that's always at the forefront of what y'all are doing. I do want to try and get your take, since you are out there right now where we are not, on the ground in Austin. Besides all the cool stuff that you and MetaMask are doing and unveiling, what's been your takeaways? What's the exciting thing or the buzz? What are you coming away with from this conference that maybe you didn't expect or that has you inspired?
Honestly, what's had me inspired isn't just the tech and like the vendors, because I've been stuck in the vendors booth. Let's be clear. I have not gotten to go to as many talks as I would have liked to, because I've been in that vendors booth. But I have come away so impressed with the developer community, with people being here and building. I met some guys at the hackathon who are pretty junior, and we're like, yeah, we'll come sit in the booth. And we hacked together a second demo live just before going on stage with not even contractors, just other developers who wanted to come into the space and give it a try. And I sat at a table with them and hacked together another demo. And seeing that kind of community is one of the reasons I love Web3 and love being a developer. So to see that and having that, branch out, I would love to see like a live stream like this or whatever, and do like a weekly thing where artists, creatives come on and be like, I don't get this. And the developers and the artists work together to create that educational space. And I'm excited that I've gotten to see that across the board, from people doing like layer 0 compilers all the way up through, I don't know how to deploy my coin right now, and I'm struggling with which package to go grab. And that community has been unparalleled. And the fun shenanigans that went on in the hackathon. The hackathon was a lot of fun.
Dax, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, man. Like I know how crazy conferences can get. So for you to like last minute hop on NFT Live today and break down what you guys are doing with MetaMask Snaps and the work that you're doing within MetaMask with the team there is awesome, man. So thanks again. I'm going to drop Dax's X profile here one more time. Dax, if you have any last words, man, we'll let you go here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. My last words are always the words I say first, which is go build shit. I don't care if you're an artist. I don't care if you're creative or getting after that bag. If you go build shit, you'll collect the right people, and you'll have a great time, and you'll learn. And that's all that that's all that we're here to do is learn and grow and build. So that's my 2 cents.
Dude, thanks for coming on, Dax. Yeah, and we'll stay in touch, man. Would love to have you back sometime as more developments develop.
Absolutely. It was great to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
Yeah, bro.
We'll reach out afterwards. Appreciate it again. Thanks.
Right on. Yeah, dude. Shout out Dax for just hopping in here and
With the
getting in
mask.
the weeds, dude. He's obviously deep. I mean, he's on their rapid application dev team, literally living this shit, breathing it right now. Permissionless, if you didn't get the gist, is obviously a very dev, crypto, heavy conference, and so he's out there living and breathing it right now, and that's awesome, man. I'm very jealous to be. I wish I was in Austin right now with you and all the people. Yeah, I was actually I wanted to ask him about his favorite NFTs too, but it's okay. We
guys wait till the end.
Yeah, Marty's waiting till the end. I thought about asking him that, but we wanted to let him move on so we can get on with the show here. But that was cool of him to hop in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to get us back on track of the news pieces here because we do have a lot of stuff to cover. Of course, again, Prodigy, Marty, appreciate you guys joining here on a hump day on a Wednesday. Please leave a like also on the show as well. My first piece of so Dax is in the green room right now saying my first piece of fan art, which was cool beans because I say that a lot. They made it into an NFT. All right, there we go. So we did get an answer there even after he hopped off. So there you go. All right. I'm going to pull us back in. I did see this come across my timeline from Spencer, who's a great follow over there on X. This is related to permissionless, right? The only NFT projects bothering to show up at the largest crypto conferences of the year are Pudgies, Yuga, Oniforce, The Gods, Azuki, and Blur. I would like to add a couple more potentially to this list if you guys have any. I'm not going to add on here today, but the point about bringing this up is, these projects are continuing to build, and definitely being at these major conferences is an important piece. Gift, did you see any that are left off this list that are attending conferences?
Well, we know Cool Cats was out at Comic-Con and has been continuing to do stuff. Yep. They're obviously not maybe flying as high as some of these. Others that are going out to conferences right now. Not a lot, man, that come to mind, honestly, that we've been seeing, out there doing a whole lot of stuff. Was it? Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't know. I mean, dude, I've been out at less conferences this year so far too. We were going to try and make it to Marfa. We're not going to make that one. It's hard right now, man.
All right, another quick breaking news piece that we were going to cover this yesterday in the rehash and in the news. It just never really made its way, I think, fully, although maybe it made its way into the rehash briefly. But FTX receives court approval now. On top of this story, there were reports that FTX had all these crypto tokens, Solana and Aptos being the most held by FTX to repay their investors. So they just got court approval to liquidate $3.4 billion in crypto assets. Again, you see Solana on there, you see Aptos, but you see a ton of others: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Wrapped BTC, Wrapped ETH, even some USDT there. So it's a heavy FUD day, man. It feels like a lot of FUD hitting the crypto space right now. So definitely there to add on. But we were talking about the biggest piece of FUD before we jumped into MetaMask snaps, which was, again, that SEC came across the bow here and fired a shot at Stoner Cats. They're going to have to pay $1 million, destroy the NFTs. I want to get into that terminology here in a second. But while we were live with Dax, we did get a really cool response here from Hester Pierce. So Hester Pierce says there's been a lot of talks about the cats at the SEC over the past week. So this is the SEC commissioner who is dissenting on this opinion. That's why this is important. It's going to be an interesting take. She also dissented on the Tom Bilyeu. So we all know Hester Pierce. I believe, I make sure I'm correct on this, but Crypto Mom, I believe she does go by. And Commissioner Mark Uyeda is one that I need to be following over there on X as well. I don't want to be in a bubble, but it's good to be. I mean, there's two people dissenting here, so you might want to follow them. All right, let's read this because I think we'll be able to pull out some things that we've been talking about, even in the GM Web3 Morning Show and even here. All right, we respectfully dissent from the Commission's second non-fungible token settlement. As we did on the first, the application of the Howey investment contract analysis in this matter lacks any meaningful limiting principle. It carries implications for creators of all kinds. Were we to apply the securities law to physical collectibles in the same way we apply them to NFTs, artist creativity would wither in the shadow of legal ambiguity. Rather than arbitrarily bringing enforcement actions against NFT projects, we ought to lay out some clear guidelines for artists and other creators who want to experiment with NFTs as a way to support their creative efforts and build their fan communities. Sounds kind of sensible to me. Sounds like that makes sense to me.
I just don't know what to make of it. Like, what good is a dissenting opinion? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this means other than like, hey, there are some smart, reasonable people out there that exist
that are voting against what's happening.
But do they have any power to change any of it or to create new rules? Or, you know, maybe it puts a little bit more pressure on Gensler, but like not really if it's not actually able to stop or change anything. So I guess I just don't understand, like, what is the difference between this dissenting opinion? Obviously it's more official and more impactful than just anybody opining, like us opining on X or something. But how much of a difference, honestly? Like, is this basically just like somebody writing an angry Twitter thread?
Well, it's a formality, right? Like when you have something come
yeah,
through
it's on
NFTs,
record. Yeah, it's a government doc. I get that. But besides that, does it have any impact? Like, does it, or is it kind of just like screaming into the void? You know, like I guess I'm just trying to understand more.
Yeah. Well,
what comes of it
with all this stuff, man? It's tough to talk about because it is a lot of FUD and it is a lot of like negative headlines that are going to set us back again another month, another 2 months, a year, whatever you look at it. I'm looking for the silver linings and the positives, right? And so one of the things we can look from Hester Pierce is someone who has extensive legal knowledge talking about NFTs. How is she talking about it? Is she talking about it in the same way we are? How is she looking at them in certain ways so that we can apply those rules going forward? What examples is she giving so that if frankly in my day-to-day life I can explain, hey, these and even briefly reading this, she uses Star Wars collectibles as an example. While updated for the digital age, the Stoner Cats NFTs are not that different from Star Wars collectibles sold in the 1970s. On the heels of the very successful release of Star Wars in 1977, fan excitement was high. To the delight of millions of children that holiday season, the toy company Kenner sold early bird certificate packages redeemable for future Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and RTD2 action figures and membership in the Star Wars fan club. The sale of these certificates helped build a diehard community of Star Wars fans. With these IOU certificates, which could be resold, constitute investment contracts. Using the analysis of today's enforcement action, the SEC should have parachuted in to save those kids from the Star Wars mania.
That's an amazing quote right there. Can you send me this link? Because I want to
send it to everybody, baby.
I want to get that tattooed on my back.
That's statement.
That's a fucking okay. Now I get the value. It's literally for the ironic humor, but from like a big brain legal mind. This is amazing.
So from what I'm hearing again, and it's something that we've been saying in chat, is how are NFTs essentially different from collectibles? This is in the realm that we currently have built for us by the regulators, which is quite frankly not that transparent. It feels like NFTs should be viewed in the collectibles format. She's literally using a collectible format there. So trading cards that we've been talking about with Parallel are an easy example because they literally are that. But something as simple as a Deadfellas could be seen as a collectible. And all of these different NFTs could be put in that basket. And it seems like Hester Pierce is using that as a way to explain
it. Yeah. I think that the real challenge here is how they're sold and marketed and how they're presented on the sale. I All right, I don't know why I'm doing this because I feel like I'm fudding the silver lining that you're creating here. But I would venture to guess, having not been there in the 1970s buying these, that they didn't present these as an opportunity to make money. And I think that is a challenge that we look at here, because we know Impact Theory did, and it seems like Stoner Cats did that too. So when they took your $800 for this collectible, they also somehow marketed it as an opportunity to make returns off of that thing. That to me is the most problematic issue in all of these situations. So if we can do away with that and creators to do a better job of positioning these things as collectibles and not make big promises about returns and money, I think we see a lot of this confusion and these issues go away.
Yeah. Myself and Gift that are based in the US, a lot of folks that watch these shows are based in the US. The other topic we touched on the GM Web3 show is that there will be innovation in other places that don't have to deal with this heavy-handedness from the SEC. It's that simple. There's going to be innovation in Asia. There might be innovation happening over in Europe. We see it in France with So Rare and a couple different things that they're doing. So there's innovation happening everywhere else. That's another silver lining to look at. Like, this isn't a death knell, but there's a lot, America and the United States make up a large percentage of GDP. And so there is frankly, we're in the US. Like, I feel attacked by this, because unless I'm looking to move to Asia and adopt that culture and do all these things that I can be on the front lines in that community, then I'm stuck here. But I guess for those folks that are in Asia and everywhere else, the good news is this isn't the end all be all. There's just going to be more innovation that happens outside the US, which is a continuation of a trend.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for us. And it's kind of a good segue into the Telegram news. But Dax had an interesting point. Shout out Dax. He's still hanging out with us, participating in the chat. Love to see it. Dax saying that this whole situation of this rebuttal is actually underselling the power of code as a compliance mechanism through NFTs. So it's like, yeah, that's the other thing about this, is that like you could write like what are the guidelines that you want, and then we can abide by them on chain. Like, you can actually code like really simple solutions.
I gave you a ton of crap for the Tom Bilyeu kind of like you definitely were kicking him when he was down, but to be honest, like, now that we have this ruling for Stoner Cats, I want to go to a comment that I just saw from Captain Trippy that is in line with, I think, your thinking. Because the more that we see from these people that frankly don't care that much about Web3, let me just get into it. Captain Trippy saying, seems Stoner Cats were low-hanging fruit and rolled over very easily for a scratch and release. Don't expect other animals to do the same. There are probably other, and I say probably, 99.9% chance that there are other situations like this happening where people aren't rolling over that easily, and therefore the SEC isn't coming out with, hey, we settled with Stoner Cats.
Look, the thing with Tom Bilyeu is his words don't match his actions to me. Bottom line, the way that he presented himself as a leader in this space through his whole marketing campaign to launch his project and sell his keys, the way that he talked about Web3 and himself and his interest in this space, the technology, the community. And then, like, you were the one that actually listened to him on Spaces, the way that he was basically simping for the SEC and telling everybody to just roll over.
He said this is the way that it's going to be in the future, basically.
Yeah, that the SEC knows what's best. Bend over and let them dictate how this space runs. That's the problem that I have, is that this space needs real leaders, not charlatans, not people that will don the cloak of greatness, of leadership, of, yes, give me the accolades, give me your money, follow me, subscribe to my thing, buy my thing because I am here. And then when the shit gets tough and they're under scrutiny, turn around and say, actually, here's the SEC to tell us how it's all done, folks. I'm gonna disappear this way now. Exit stage left. That's the problem to me, is charlatans who will accept all of the accolades and yet not take any of the scrutiny and stand up for those things that they purport to be their beliefs. Yeah. So that's my problem, is that Tom Bilyeu I see is a faux leader, a fake leader. I do not think he actually believes in this shit or cares enough to really fight for it. He's just here as a capitalist who saw an opportunity, who's going to do whatever he can to try and make money, but doesn't really give a shit about any sort of ethos or beliefs. His only belief is in self-preservation and money. That's his belief. And he clothed that in the Web3 leadership lingo and ethos. So
a lot of great comments coming through that I want to get to, man. Left Action House is first of all saying, do not get that tattoo, by the way. Dax is saying that is underselling the power of code as compliance through NFTs. Dax is saying regulator sucks. Well, we can write any NFTs to do anything, so why put us in the collectible box? I think that's actually a more nuanced, but it's a good point. Dax saying real leaders like Gift Dead. Marty saying I don't trust anyone named Tom. And Yaisen saying guy has a Web 2 company that he can't screw. This isn't a native Web 3 project.
He fucked up and then tried to anyway, yeah. He fucked up by tying his Web 2 business to the Web 3 business and not separating. He made a bunch of mistakes. The problem with me, or the comparison to me, is that I don't have resources. Some of these people actually have resources. Some of them do not want to put any of those resources forward when they're called to or need to step up. And that's what we're seeing right now in these people just rolling over, is they don't want to take the time, energy that it takes, which it's a burden. But that is what leaders do. They take on burdens to lead the way, to set positive precedents for something that they actually believe in. They will bleed for what they believe in. I don't have resources. I'm not going to be the one that can ever right now go to bat. But you would think some people like Tom Bilyeu or Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, if they really believed in this shit, could put up a fight. They could have resources to go after some of these things. And this, again, is why Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, Yuga Labs, 100%. And the whole team there are so heckin' important. We need more people that have resources and actually really believe in this shit, who are going to go to bat and try and set favorable precedents and actually lead the US forward in this regulatory battle.
I guarantee that there's other NFT projects out there dealing with the SEC that have not rolled over yet and therefore have not been made an example of. These are the two examples of people that they were able to say, hey, you're high profile and you're also not going to put up a fight. And these are what we're getting. So I would think we're going to get more SEC rulings here in the coming months, probably here, that are going to be more out in the open, probably not have maybe even been settled. They're going to go to court and do all of these different things. So I think you laid it out pretty well there, Gif. I did want to add some context, because another part of this is saying, okay, the precedent is don't talk about your NFTs like an idiot, right? And so they didn't have anything in their actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Initial post from the SEC, like the initial filing or the settlement, didn't have a specific quote, but I found one here from Reuters. The NFTs provided holders with exclusive access to watch Stoner Cats online. Investors were told the NFTs were like a ticket, and that the more successful the show, the more successful your NFT. Don't say shit like that. That's a silver lining of this. That maybe if we can just go forward and be as is, if Stoner Cats didn't say that, maybe they're not dealing with it. The issue is, where are they saying that? I would love to see, because they pulled a random message from Tom Bilyeu's Discord. I'm not absolving him from having said that, but a random message. So now a company could be liable if a team member who has control of the account and post from the Stoner Cats profile says something. Now you could be down the line. You're the SEC.
Well, this is why PR companies and communication firms get paid a lot of money, frankly, because the whole job is to communicate in a way that is effective and safe for a brand or business to be operating. And yeah, man, that's when you've got these startups basically that don't have qualified teams trying to articulate around large amounts of money and assets and investment, quote unquote investments, which they shouldn't be, you get into trouble, man. And anyway, yeah, I don't know how much more time we want to spend on this today, but
not much. I also don't like the wording of what the last thing I'll put in. I hate to end on a negative, but like, here's the wording from the SEC. Regardless of whether your offering involves beavers, chinchillas, or animal-based NFTs, like it's
demeaning.
You sound hurt. Yeah. Like who hurts you? Like, how about just having any type of decorum when you're talking about these things? There's a lot of innovation that comes out of this stuff. It's not just beavers and chinchillas and all of these different things. It sounds incredibly demeaning. So we'll see what comes of this. I think more often than not, we are going to see other NFT projects have to deal with this. It's unfortunate. It's going to be some short-term FUD that we have to get through. I think a lot of other projects didn't say the things that these two projects said and are not as high profile. That's another really big piece. They want the Ashton Kutchers. They want the Tom Billies of the world.
It's earned media, man. That's their goal with this type of thing. And yeah, Dax saying, by the way, for exactly those reasons, everything I said on the show is my own opinion. And yes, it's a great time to always remind everybody that we're not financial advisors, as we do consistently, and we will continue to do for your own safety and ours. We are not financial advisors. Nothing we talk about in any of our shows on the Web3 network should be misconstrued as financial advice at any time. Even if we joke around or say something that you're like, oh, it kind of sounds like, no, it's not. We are not financial advisors. All this info is found publicly on the interwebs, and we are just talking about cool shit on the internet. These are just our opinions, and do your own research.
All right. Stoner Cats is officially up 158%. I'll end on that note as well. Degen's going to degen. Another one that's up big, Gifted, that we've been talking about. I mean, we're talking your ears off at this point on Parallel. Parallel avatars are up to 0.33. I bought two, I believe, at 0.26. So I'm up. Not financial advice. I'm up. But
bro, hook me up.
0.33 for these Parallel avatars. The Prime token I haven't looked at in the last few hours, but that was sitting, kind of ranging around 4.
It was around
2.
Yeah, it was around 450 last time I looked. So okay. It's up like 60% on the 7-day or something like that. Dude, Parallel got something, and I'm not even gonna get into how aggro and triggered I am as a Shroud main right now. We won't talk about that.
You did get a message from someone who's top 50 that is Shroud.
Top 150. Top 150.
Top 150. Okay, my bad.
I don't think you can be top 50 as Shroud right now. Let's not get carried away.
All right. I don't know much about the colony aspect, but this was a really cool post. I wish I had the actual, man, do I not have it? Hold on. No, I probably don't, but I do have a look from Parallel. Okay. So we do have a post from Parallel at Token 2049. We revealed the UE5, so Unreal Engine 5 target state for the first AI game, Parallel Colony. Colony is a 1.5 player game where avatars powered by AI have their own wallets and can transact with each other using Prime and items called NFTs earned or purchased within the simulation. Colony is in early active development, and we are excited to share our vision for the game with the world. Oh my God. This team is blowing it out of the fucking park. Let me see if I can put the trailer up. Restream's just screwing me today.
Trailer maxis. Assemble.
So again, you can see this, the UE5 environment here. This is beta. I don't know exactly what's going on and what he's doing. It looks like there's different crafting materials and all this stuff, but Jesus,
dude, the world
is getting after it.
Is deep, and this is what happens when you actually have good IP and the ability to execute on it. A lot of people will say really hyperbolic things about how all of the IP in the NFT space just sucks. And the honest truth is that the majority of it isn't very good. It's really not. So when people say stuff like that, they're actually
Right.
there's some truth there. The vast majority of things that you were sold or that you bought thinking like, oh, it's cool new IP, most of it is not well thought out or deep at all. Most of it doesn't have that much legs to it. Parallel is fucking deep. And if you've played the card game, you know it's deep. Like you're like, oh shit, this is a futuristic Magic the Gathering with a whole lot of world, a lot of different factions and characters where they actually understand like what are all these fucking characters doing in this world? How do they all work together? They're like balancing it in real time. It looks amazing. The actual execution of the artwork and what this world looks like and these characters coming to life is fucking awesome. And just to see more of that already, they're developing more applications and games where you see this world coming to life. Dude, this is why the token's pumping. This is why we keep talking about it. This is why we're playing this game and collecting the NFTs and all that shit. And I wish I had a fucking avatar. I wish I had some keys. I wish I had more fucking NFTs. I wish I wasn't a fucking Shroud main right now. God damn. All right.
My man is losing it here. K-Town, if you can give us a DM with that link that you're talking about over there on Tezos, I would love to share it on the channel. So definitely hit us with that. All right, we're not going to show you on Parallel much longer. I think that one piece about Colony is coming out. The token's extremely doing well. The other anecdote I have is that I'm still having folks that have no idea what Parallel is. So I think, and these are people like in NFTs and all this stuff, I think we're still early. Not financial.
We are, but people are asking a lot about it. They're starting, like, even the people that just like tune out most things are starting to be like, hey, what's Parallel?
Yeah, agreed. On the gaming front, just a quick update that I'm not going to FUD this too much. I'm excited to see WreckLeague, but WreckLeague, which is the fighter game that is coming out with the partnership between Yuga Labs and Animoca Brands and a lot of different projects, I think, in the space. We saw the Oni Force as well. It's going to probably become anybody that was in that tournament is likely going to have their project involved with WreckLeague, right? So you're going to see Frank DeGods come out and say DeGods are involved in this. You're going to see Sappy Seals come out and say Sappy Seals are involved in this. So anyways, the gameplay comes out tomorrow. I'm going to have to buy a Majestic box on the open market to play this fighter game starting on September 14th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. You will earn points through play during specific times for leaderboard scores to count, win games, and you'll move up the charts. So WreckLeague is going live, and now they have shown us how the leaderboard is going to work. The problem is there's scoring windows that you need to participate in each one if you want to be at the top. You have to participate in window 1, 2, and 3. Throughout the whole window. I don't know if it's a week long. It says September 14th to the 28th. That's 2 weeks. You have to be up at, I'm just going to use Eastern time here, 7:30, 3:30, and what is that? Like 1 in the morning is the closing time for window 3. You have to do each one. If you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, you have to take part in each one. It's that simple. So why they did it this way, I think the reasoning that I got from commenters when I commented on this exact post is that they want to have the max amount of people playing at one time. They don't want to have a ranked queue system like we saw, frankly, with Blankos, where me and Prodigy were playing Blankos and couldn't find a game. So I think what they're doing is trying to get all the people together in one zone, but it sucks. I hate the time-based mechanism. If they needed to do it, they needed to do it, but it's not a good user experience. People don't want to play the game at 1 in the morning, 9 in the morning, afternoon, every single day for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that we're in this stage, as we are early, as we've already mentioned, where to launch a game successfully and get the right amount of daily active users in it at the same time, you have to work within certain limitations or use certain tactics and mechanics to do that. It's just how it is. And so I agree that it's not the ideal way, but I don't know that they have better choices right now because it's a brand new Web3 game. It's niche. It's a niche within a niche, and you got to have enough players in there. Otherwise, it's a horrible experience for everybody, right? If you're sitting in queue for 20 minutes trying to get a match, you're just like, oh, this is dead already. Why am I wasting my time? So I get why they're doing it. Hopefully it picks up and they get enough DAUs that, whatever tournament structures they do are more flexible and accommodating, or what are they going to do? But it's, yeah, I get why you're not a fan of it. It's not ideal for everybody.
Yeah.
That's just, I think, the way that they have to roll it out. I appreciated Dax bringing up another headline that we didn't hit on GM Web3. Let me just show this real quick because it is relevant to Web3 gaming and to gaming in general. And that's that Unity, the tech company behind one of the most popular engines for creating video games, is scrambling to clarify how price will increase for its servers. For its services after an announcement Tuesday morning broadly infuriated the game development community. They basically said, if I'm going to summarize it here, that they are changing their pricing model to charging per install beyond a certain threshold, which just is it fucks up a lot of game developers' economics, right? So this is a lot of words. I'll take this off here in a second. I'm trying to see if there's any specific details real quick. But developers paying over $2,000 a year for Unity Pro plan would have to hit higher thresholds and would be charged with lower fees. Anyway, it just fucks up the economics. So that's just a quick note there, and we'll look more into it and follow that. But it's gonna change probably the gaming landscape in ways that we don't see immediately as users, because it's affecting a lot of devs and their business models. So thanks for calling that out. Interesting note.
Yeah, the fact that Dax is still here and being supportive, man, you're getting after it. I love to see it. Guys, if you're watching here on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, on Twitter, formerly Twitter X, we appreciate you guys so much. If you're watching afterwards as well, thank you guys for tuning in each day. It does mean a lot if you guys like the video and just continue to support us in ways that you can. We're trying to get after it every day, man, and build this up for y'all.
Absolutely. And also, Dax was sharing that where is it? He said that they are creating a Unity tie-in to Metamask through Snaps as well. Or sorry, Unreal Engine. We're adding the SDK for Unreal Engine. You don't need a new wallet. You can use Metamask directly in the engine. That's really cool because I do know some NFT projects like Chiptos X, that have been building out their IP specifically in Unreal Engine. So it's really cool that, more of that interoperability for Web3 games, gaming engines is already being released and thought of and built in here. That's pretty exciting. All right, this chat's getting lit over here.
Yeah, that was we were streaming Blank Us and some guy had that's a meme to this day. I love that. Anyways, hopefully the Blank Us team can get it together here and build a cool product. Yeah. Anyways, I did want to give a quick shout out to SugarTown Auras. They're trading here on the secondary of 0.13. This was a free mint. So there was an application process, then it went to public. If you paid the gas fee, it was free. So we'll continue to watch this. Again, SugarTown is essentially the first product under Zynga's new Web3 gaming studio. So Zynga's the product or the studio behind things like Farmville and a couple other real large free-to-play apps. So we'll see what happens with these auras. I didn't mint one. I'm not saying I faded them. I just wasn't interested. I know, Gif, you were talking about the art, and I feel like SugarTown was the one that really kind of started you on the conversation of like, hey, like, why is this all made for cartoons or for like 5-year-olds? It feels like. You're muted.
Yeah, I was just sighing very loudly over here. It's like,
it's a W 0.14 free.
Oh, if you got in on it, yeah, we love to see dubs. So that's great. We've been covering the rollout because it's Zynga, and it's interesting to see them, how they're coming about things, what they're doing good, what they're doing bad. I think this is a mix of good and bad. I do think the free mint was smart, especially in the context of what we've been talking about with regards to SEC going after NFT projects right now. They're probably very aware of that. So they did a free offering. They're probably in the clear with this. I doubt they'll be targeted because of that. And yeah, if you got in on this allow list for free mint, you got a couple $100 at least here. The art is not interesting to me. It's bad. It's really bad cartoon art. It looks like Animaniacs, except even worse. I like the Animaniacs, honestly, but it does look like it's targeting children. Like it's targeting like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid. Like it's actually like if you go look at their art of these characters that they've been showing, it looks like a Nickelodeon show for very young children. Not even like Nick at Night or like Adult Swim or something like that. Like those are cool and interesting. To me, I just don't understand. I don't really understand who the target audience for some of this shit is. And it's kind of confusing. Like that just looks, it looks like very young kids here. And I don't know, maybe the themes are more adult, you know, maybe it's actually cooler than we're giving it credit, but just based on the art, I'm just being honest as always. We're going to keep it real with y'all. We ain't no simps. I'm not a huge fan of the art. And also, you know, just to tie it back into why we're so bullish about Parallel, it's way cooler. It's way more interesting to me. That's feels
the demographic. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like Parallel actually understands the demographic a lot better than this, in my opinion. So. Yeah,
it's an interesting phenomenon. I don't think much of it, but it is
Dax,
what it is. Yeah,
Dax saying, "Hey, I'm a big giant child. Give me my juice box and goldfish crackers any day." And like we all are. Clearly, we're up here talking about cartoons day in and day out. We're all kids. Some things just lean a little bit too far into that, like the Mochaverse too. We were talking about Mochaverse yesterday. That one's like it's so cringe, bro.
You stop talking about Animoca brands on this channel. All right, I'm a simp for
we love Animoca brands.
Right, yeah,
just the Mochaverse direction artistically is what I have a question about.
Okay, we're here for like 10 more minutes max, folks. I did want to have a quick follow-up here on the Nouns. So the Nouns are in the middle of their rage quit, basically. They're offering 35 ETH per noun, and people are taking them up on it. It's making the floor essentially diverge, or the previous floor that was 25 ETH, starting to converge with the actual price that they're doing the redeemable. It's now over the redeemable price at 36 ETH. So some economics there if you want to dive deep. The more interesting piece on the overall Nouns situation is that they've lost half of their treasury with this move. So they've lost half of their treasury and they've lost half of their community. And you can see from stats here, with 2 days to decide, 371 Nouns have signed up to redeem their NFT to ETH. That's a little less than half the total Nouns.
Yeah, they're expecting about 50%, which is kind of wild. That is a actual fork. It was like, so the fork language
in the road.
The fork language is making much more sense to me here, as we've sort of dug into what's happening with the NounsDAO. Look, the treasury is still going to have a lot of money and still going to be able to do a lot of great things.
17 mil.
What Symbiotech was talking about is, maybe just the scale of certain proposals comes down a little bit. So maybe the average size of a grant might decrease some, to be fair, but they're still going to be able to do a lot with this DAO. And I still think the Nouns are one of the best out there doing it. But I will say that I'm a little bit shocked by this. Like, it's not something I really saw coming, given how strong, at least from the outside of it, we've seen the Nouns community and DAO to be.
It might be that the community is more in little Nouns, and that a majority of folks that maybe are holding Nouns, because when someone says 367 Nouns, it's not 367 people. That's another thing. Like, I think that's the amount that are leaving. People own multiple Nouns that they're redeeming into this contract. So there's a ton of people, and maybe the community is more into the little Nouns. I don't know.
It definitely is surprising. Probably. It's still probably a couple hundred people, and there's not that many people in that community. So it's still probably close to half.
I'm going to try to find I always say literature now. I'm going to just go with that. I'll find the literature here for you, Dax, because the NounsDAO actually had a very, very detailed proposal on this fork that is happening within their community right now. So I'll try to find that and send it to you in DMs. Right now, it's going to be tough for me to go back and find it. But on the topic of DAOs, this was my favorite conversation and topic other than the SEC and Stoner Cats that was taking over headlines. That was the fact that Machi finally came out with AIP 304, create the digital art movement collection to acquire Yuga assets. Laying a very brief foundation here, Machi essentially talked about in spaces and in Discord that essentially we should use treasury funds, of which I believe ApeCoin DAO's treasury is much less now, but it was $1 billion even up to about 2 months ago. So the ApeCoin price falling, obviously that sucks for that treasury. You're losing a ton of net worth there and net value, but there's still a shit ton of money in the ApeCoin DAO. And Machi is essentially wanting to use 11 million ape, basically like $12 million at current price, to buy up Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, Kennel Clubs, CryptoPunks, and more NFTs to disperse them into what he says museums and to disperse them around the world to be exposed to other people. That last part is a little, I don't know if I believe him all that much, but it'd be a cool, it's almost weird talking about it because like, is that going to happen? But if it does happen, that's a really cool use case for treasury funds for a myriad of different reasons. But yes, this proposal
it's almost like the proliferation of the meme. That's like the NounsDAO's mission is the proliferation of the Noggles meme. It's kind of like what he's doing here. It's the proliferation of the Bored Ape meme around the world. I think we got into a really interesting sort of question around this about like what happens if this actually passes, what kind of conflict ensues in this DAO based around somebody as controversial as Machi starting to accrue like even more power within this community. And also, what does this mean for his bags? What's the conflict of interest here? For somebody like Machi, who's famous for manipulating price floors, accumulating massive amounts of apes, buying and flipping and selling and blur farming, etc. What's the implication?
I know the conversation on GM Web3 tends to lean away from the financialization of NFTs, and that's completely fine. Like a ton of folks in there are creators, they're artists, they're all these different things. So the topic of buybacks and whether people should do them, that's something that exchanges do, right? That's something that Binance does with their Binance token. They take the fees and they buy up the token and pump the price and all that stuff. So it is a tougher combo to have, but I think this is actually a really great move if the token price is higher. So that's my one caveat right now, is that essentially in the Yuga ecosystem, you have Ape and you have the NFTs. So you have the fungible token and you have all of the NFT collection. Right now, Ape's not doing too well. If this proposal had passed maybe even 4 months ago, when Ape was at like $6, $4.50, I think it makes a lot more sense because at that point, Ape is a little bit healthier. Right now, you're taking something that's so beat down. This token is so beat down over the last year, and you're saying, okay, let's buy up the NFT side of our ecosystem. I get that the NFTs are beat down too, but I don't think this is the best case scenario right now. Now, if ApeCoin is at $20, that they can introduce syncs via other side and WreckLeague and all these things they want to do, and the ApeCoin's at $20, it's a fantastic idea. And people hate for me to say that, but the ability to acquire more apes up off the floor and what that does for floor price and then activity and sentiment around what's happening, I think is a really fucking fantastic idea. The problem is ApeCoin's $1.13.
Yeah, and it doesn't look good whether you zoom out to 7 days, a month, or a year. It's not looking hot right now. Again, we talk a lot about it doing very well in the bull. I think we all expect that it will, but I think that's an interesting point just about the timing of this as well. Asmodai is saying maybe GIF would prefer they head down a more drawn together style, referring to SugarTown. Yes, I would, although there is a limit to that. We saw where Art Gobblers went and may have gone wrong, and there's definitely there's limits to doing things that are just sort of like gross and trashy versus things that are just more edgy and interesting to adults, that feel more relevant and gritty or deeper, more more human than just like a childlike 5-year-old cartoon.
GIF hates cartoon NFTs. Put that on the record.
Oh,
All right.
Literally rocking fucking endless merch that's all cartoon shit. So it's clearly not the case. But
you took that one to heart, GIF. Cirrus is saying hilarious part about this is that he continues nuking them into bids. So this is the other part. Machi is involved in this. So what that all means and what he's trying to do this for. It's a very contentious proposal when it comes to the size and what it means. I think it could set a precedent for other NFT collections whenever they do figure out business models to start introducing buybacks and things like this. So really, it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight is the proposal. Cirrus is saying that it most likely it goes through. I wasn't made aware that that was like going to unanimously pass.
Well, pumping their bags. I mean,
well,
it's hard.
Well, everybody holds Ape though. Most people hold Ape too. Mm-hmm. It's just like,
yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's probably going to pass just based upon how the way that most people are so focused on floor prices.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't be surprised.
My last take here, very quick, the fact that they're using funds at 20. Remember the special counsel situation we had, $20K a month for like 5 different people. That's another piece of that. So I think that buybacks are a way better use of that cash overall. It's easier to kind of have a direct influence than saying 20K to a certain person. Yacht should get that. You can see the implementations in WreckLeague. You can see all of his moves. I need to see transparency on everybody else because $20,000 a month, I'd rather buy $20,000 a month worth of NFTs. I rather do that.
All right. So it's like one NFT every 2 months. Yeah. All right.
It's like 4 mutants. It's like 4 mutants a month at this point, maybe 3 mutants.
We did have 2 other quick stories that, I do want us to try and get out of here too, because this has already been a full show. But really quickly, Sony reveals blockchain plans to quote unquote connect souls across generations. This is pretty much breaking from yesterday that we didn't cover yet. Sony Network Communications, which is a subsidiary of the global tech giant Sony, did announce Monday it's developing a new blockchain platform in a joint venture. So there's that. Very interesting to follow. What does that mean for Sony's products, the PlayStation Network, all of those goods? It's exciting to see them continue to experiment and maybe launch their own Web 2.5, blockchain. And then this one, another big announcement that is definitely breaking today. Telegram adds self-custodial crypto wallet worldwide, excluding us, the US. Of course they are. And you were talking a little bit about the historical context there around their ICO. They've already been through the SEC's grinder, and now they're just saying, yeah, well, fuck y'all. We don't need you. The rest of the world is moving forward, and y'all can get left behind for all we care. So another big update, new development, Web3. The thing that is, I think, a nice closed circle or landing place on the conversation around the SEC and the Stoner Cats today is that this Telegram situation and Sony situation, these developments highlight that regardless of what the SEC is trying to do and, litigate us back into the 1940s, Web3 is a technology that continues to proliferate because it's popular and it's already out there. You're not going to stop it. So either we, as the United States, figure out guidelines to actually be part of this movement, or we get left behind. And the SEC, you can't stop it. It's a global phenomenon, and other people get it.
Yeah, we will. I mean, it's tough for me to talk about like large scale macro things because it feels like what is the direct benefit that we see from something like a Sony blockchain or something like the consistent larger entities getting into space. I think overall it's like you look up and everything's changed in a year, or 2 years. Like that, it doesn't have any direct impact on our day to day, but that it will actually provide some benefits maybe overall in a large timeline. So
It's just moral support for me today. That's all.
All right. So I'm going to end the stream now, folks. I appreciate y'all all the way through. Asmodai, Dax, Prodigy, K-Town, Felipe, Super Arsenal, Prodigy, Left Action House. You guys were awesome throughout the whole time. If you're here listening afterwards, we appreciate you guys so much. Leave a reply there in the comments. If you're listening on X or Twitch, again, you are appreciated. So our Vibe, our tribe. We're going to get out of here. We'll be on GM Web3 tomorrow. We'll be on NFT Live tomorrow. We're also doing these rehashes. So if you don't like listening to an hour and 29 minutes of our diatribe, you can listen to it in 10 minutes and just get up out of there.
There it is. We just started this yesterday. That's the daily rehash 912 on the X over there. So follow us over there. We're going to start putting out these 5 to 10 minute summaries. Yeah, in case you don't like the long-winded nature of these shows, we're going to just make it even easier. So look out for the rehash. That's it.
All right, appreciate y'all. Our Vibe, our tribe. See you tomorrow.